Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation 1. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? Alright, last time on the Final Fantasy Let's Play, well, we came to the Terra Cavern in search of an item that we needed in order to go further. We took out a vampire who is incredibly weak. He must be from the Twilight universe. Oh, snap! And we got the Star Ruby, which in turn we were able to go to the Titan's Cavern and give the Star Ruby over as a snack to a rock giant. Rock Biter. Never-ending story reference. And then we were able to go to the Sage's Cave to get the Earth Rod, and that's what's going to allow us to go further into the Terra Cavern to free the Earth Crystal. Yes, I know, I went into way too much more exposition than you probably needed. And in the meantime, I'm just running like mad from every encounter that I can think of. For people who might be complaining about that, get used to it. I do a lot of grinding, and so in a lot of cases, I get tired of seeing the enemies. So if I have the ability to run, I will run. If I don't, I'll nuke them to oblivion and back. But I think that running away from them actually saves some time, and it allows me to go a little bit further into the level of the dungeon. Now, for those who were here last part, this is going to be kind of redundant because we're going to be doing the first 3 floors all over again, but that's the way it is. In Final Fantasy, you have lots of repetition. Can't really stop it. But in the meantime, I've also taken a look at the map to see, maybe if there are any other items that I'm going to want from this dungeon. And there really isn't any, so you probably won't see me making any pit stops for chests, at least in this dungeon. You'll see me do it later. There are a couple in the later dungeons that I want to go get, but here, not so much. I mean, I went off to get the coral sword last part, and I thought that would be an upgrade for my warrior, and it isn't. So that was kind of disappointing. That's actually going to be kind of a disappointing concept during the beginning part of this game, is that the weapons and armor that you're going to get in, say, the first 2 dungeons, they're kind of hit and miss. They're either going to be an upgrade for your character, or they're not, and then you're going to be like, ugh, kick myself in the shin for going and getting it. But oh well. Anyway, we are actually on the floor with the vampire. Don't worry, he's not back. They didn't re-dip him in Elder's glitter glue. He's fine. He's good and dead. I mean dead, not undead. Actually, speaking of undead, so one of the things I would like to know from people is, we're coming up pretty close to Halloween, and I know that there are some countries that don't celebrate it, but for those in the States, if you are celebrating it, what are you doing? Do you have any specific family rituals or anything like that you do? I'm not talking dark rituals, but do you watch a specific movie series when you're either waiting for trick-or-treaters or just having your own Halloween party? I'd like to know this stuff, because, my family has their own, but mine are kind of silly. For those who want to know, I have a weird concept of, I only watch one movie around Halloween, and, well, 2, technically, because I do watch a Halloween cartoon that I grew up on, and my wife just so happens to own the Garfield Halloween. I love that. It is so fun just to go back and watch that every year. And then the other is, and people are going to scream at me for this, but I'm going to admit it, I dig out Van Helsing. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying that it's kind of a schlocky pseudo-horror title, and I have no problem digging it out around this time of the year. And I will also say that they did get one thing right in Van Helsing, at least to me, and that is the CG werewolf design. It's hit and miss, but I love that first one. Alright, so a stone plate rests on the floor. It seems to block our path. I wonder how we handle this. Very simple. We got the Earth Rod for a reason. Now we use it. New staircase! Which will now give us access to the last 2 floors. But anyway, back to the Van Helsing. So, like I said, one of the things that I will compliment it for is that it did really, really good in CG as far as the werewolf is concerned. Now, I need to be specific with that. The first werewolf that they come across in that movie is splendid. All the other werewolves after that are kind of meh, but I love that first one. That's exactly what a Wolfman should look like. But yeah, I dig out that movie. It's only this time of the year. The other thing that I do is, as far as gaming is concerned, I will dig out 2 major series, with occasionally a third. The 2 big ones are Castlevania. For those who are following the Drak and Shadow LPs, we actually did the original Castlevania, and that was Alex's first time, and Alex loved it. And then the second series that I dig out, for those who are PlayStation fans, I dig out the Legacy of Kain series. Because Twilight has pissed me off enough to a point where I need, like, legit vampires. And, you know, to some who are going to claim that Legacy of Kain, that's not legit vampires. It's good enough for me. It at least feels like a vampire story. I mean, I went off and saw the Twilight movies because my wife's a fan. And I will say they came up with some interesting concepts as far as trying to explain why, but not really. I would not give that series an Oscar by any stretch of the imagination. Now, if somebody actually made a Legacy of Kain movie, hats off to you, brother. Hats off. Or sister. In fact, you know what? Guillermo del Toro, you did really, really good with Hellboy. Go and do Legacy of Kain. You would do 10 times better than that punk Uwe Boll. To all the Uwe Boll fans, which there are none, I'm sorry, but it's true. Okay, we're actually coming close to the end of the 4th floor. I'm saying 4th floor, but it's really like basement 4. Look, I've played Zelda games and I've done all that, but I just say 4th floor in the dungeon. And now we're on the 5th floor. This is the last one. This is actually where the Earth Crystal resides. And where we have to take care of whatever is blocking its power. I think it's actually been explained, but I'm going to keep quiet just in case it hasn't. Final Fantasy fans, you know what it is. Shut up. There may be somebody new here. And of course, as I get closer and closer to the end of a dungeon, that's when all the attacks start happening. All the random encounters. Yay, we ran away from the troll and the Minotaur. Yay! Okay, so we're really close. So at this point, I actually do take Yuna and just let her heal up as best we can, because I don't want to use too many charges. I'm sitting pretty as far as charges are concerned, but you can never be too careful. So we go through the door, and strange orb in the way. Who speaks to me? Did the orb just talk? I am the force withholding the power of the earth. Away with you, humans. Enter the Earth Fiend Lich. This is kind of one of the reasons, guys, why I picked the PlayStation version. I love the NES version, don't get me wrong, but the sprites, this is just 16-bit glory. And this game deserved it to be remade into kind of a 16-32-bit glory. And this is why I kind of picked it. So for those who wanted me to do the NES version, sorry, I like this one better. I don't normally pick remakes unless they are just absolutely 100% better than their predecessors. But in this case, I did. Of course, I'm trying to do as much damage as I can, but this guy's only impervious to magic, really. You know, my warrior, Bartz, is getting off a couple of good hits, but you can see that Yang, we're just gonna go with Yang. Yang's not really getting any good hits in. Whereas Vivi, totally. Will this be it? Yes! The Earth Fiend is down. One crystal has been saved. And we got a good chunk of experience in the meantime. That helps. Oh, look. The 4 warriors of light must stand next to the crystal. Let's jumpstart it. Woo! And I'm sorry, but the crystal just went from a poo color to, well, a pea color. People can skewer me later. I'm just making an observation. I remember playing this game and my older brother and me went, oh, look, the poop crystal. It just happened. It's like a brown, and then it goes to being, well, pea kind of yellow. Don't blame me, blame the makers. Okay, blame me. Alright, so we are done with the Terra Cavern, and now we have freed the Earth Crystal. So, in the meantime, this actually means we need to go and free the next crystal. Now, we don't really get a whole lot of story development to say, you know, where to go, so that's kind of one of the downsides of this game. I mean, if I'm getting it wrong, guys, please let me know, but we don't really... I don't remember getting, like, a subtle hint to go here or there in some cases. You kind of had to just discover it on your own. But in this case, I don't have to, because I know where to go. It's not like I haven't played this game a dozen times. Yes, guys, I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I've played these things once or twice. Heck, truth be told, I mean, one of the main reasons I decided to do the Final Fantasy series as my kind of first LP debut was because we were really, really close to the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy. So that's one of the things that really kind of helped to it, as well as, you know, you pick, as a first LP, I've seen a lot of people do it, they pick the games they know. And this is a game I know. Mystic Quest was another game I knew. Not as well as this, but, you know, it was still a nice little nod as being kind of a Final Fantasy 0. Okay, so now we go to the cobweb-covered inn. I just love the fact that Melmond has not cleaned its inn in forever. We're too busy being shelled by inexplicable forces that they never explain. Buy more Ovaltine, kids. Okay, so actually now we're going to try and make our way to the town of Crescent Lake. That is going to take us to the next crystal, or close to it. And the next crystal, now people might think, okay, you know, we just played Mystic Quest. Is this going to go in the exact same order? No, it isn't. I wish I could say that there is a solid order that you go through in the games, but it changes from game to game. So it's just going to be a different order each time. But Double or Nothing, well, actually no, I can't even make the claim that you start with Earth every time, because I think 5 started with Wind, I think, but I might be wrong. Besides, these weren't crystals before, they were orbs! That's kind of one of the other reasons I don't like the NES version, is they're like, oh, so us stupid Americans wouldn't understand crystals? Yeah, problem there. That may not be the reason, but you gotta admit, with Japanese companies, it tends to be. Even the great Lord Shigeru has done that. And it is irksome, but I can let them get away with it. As long as they make good games. They're being stupid like, say, Capcom with most of its franchises, then no, they don't get away with it. And apparently I'm not having any... Oh, there you go. Thank you, Vivi. That took forever. Okay, how many steps was that in tiles? Seriously. Random encounters, man. Random encounters. Okay, and that's actually the Sage's Cave, I think. And this is the port we actually need to get to for Crescent Lake. Really, I'm just not having much luck running right now. I don't know why. That's kind of stupid. So while we're making our way to Crescent Lake, one of the questions that I do get with Drak and Shadow as well as here is, what games are you currently playing and liking? I actually just barely beat the game Bayonetta. And I gotta say, love it. Very excited for the sequel coming out on the Wii U. But I kept on sitting there in the game going, this is totally a Devil May Cry clone. How did Sega get away with it? And then I read the credits. Oh, look, the creator of Devil May Cry made it. There's how you got away with it. So, yeah, it was a great game. I will play the second one. Now, I get some of the complaints that people had with the story. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and a lot of things aren't explained until the very end. But that's fine. At least in the case of Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, because it's so outlandish, and so... I swear, there are even points where it makes fun of itself. So, I have no problem with that, because it's still an entertaining experience going from mission to mission. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm actually getting ready to dip back into Devil May Cry, because it is close to Halloween, and I gotta go play my favorite Devil May Cry game, which would be the third. The third is awesome, because it introduces the most awesome character imaginable, Virgil. Yes, Virgil is awesome. Okay, so we just barely arrived at Crescent Lake, if you couldn't already tell from the river. How it's in a nice little crescent moon shape. And now we're just going to take a look around at the shops real quick, see if there's anything that I need to go and upgrade. Because that's what you do. So first with the armor store, it looks like we have a bunch of mithril gear. Some of it's upgrades, and some of it isn't. So we go ahead and get the ones that are upgrades. And quickly optimize my equipment. There we go. So next stop, the weapon shop. And what do we have here? Mithril knife, mithril sword, mithril hammer, mithril axe. And the axe is actually kind of an upgrade, so we go ahead and get that for Bart's. I don't normally go with axes on my warriors, but this is one of those cases where I will. It is an upgrade, except your accuracy does go down a little bit. I'm willing to accept that because it does hit harder. So even if I get a miss every now and then, I'm still going to get a really high hit. Well, high for me. And this is actually where we start to see a divide, where there is magic we can't buy, because we have these certain requirements. You have to be a white mage, a red mage, but white wizard? What's that? Eventually in the game, you will upgrade your classes, and they will be able to learn the more advanced magic if they are mages. So in that case, we'll go into that a little bit later when I actually do upgrade. But in the meantime, you can see I can buy a few things, but not everything, and that's actually going to become a bit of an issue later on as well. But we have officially done our magic shopping. I think I actually walked away with Bolt 3 and maybe one for Yuna, but I don't remember. I think I did. So now we actually need to go around to this area. You can see a bunch of people off in the wilderness, and one with a big blue hat. I wonder who that is. We, the 12 sages, came to this land guided by the stars and prophecies. I am Lucan, a prophet. Oh, so you made our prophecy. Legends and prophecy shall come to pass, and we shall bear witness to it. Okay. That was useless. Well done, Light Warriors. You've defeated the Earth Fiend and restored the crystal's light, but by doing so, you have roused the Fire Fiend from his slumber, 200 years before it was supposed to happen. Take this canoe and go fix the problem. Alright. Don't get mad at me. I got told to go fulfill a prophecy. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what we needed to do. We need to come over here to get a canoe, because, as you can see, we have new kind of bodies of water that we can't cross with our ship, since our ship is restricted to ports. But now we can use the canoe to cross rivers, and therefore get to Mount Gulg, where the Fire Fiend has been roused from her deep slumber. Is her? I'm going to go with her. And it's so nice to go into an inn that's been thoroughly cleaned. So nice indeed. Alright, but we are actually coming close to the end of this part, so we're going to go ahead and end it here. Next time, we'll be taking on the trek to Mount Gulg, and take out the Fire Fiend to restore the Fire Crystal. But in the meantime, I am Drak, and this has been a Let's Play of Final Fantasy for the PlayStation. See you next time.